Welcome back to California Life Podcast. Today, I am very happy to welcome back Ms. Virag Vida, one, the only, and legendary international journalist and member of the Critics' Choice Awards. And Virag, to me, you are the one who makes Hollywood classy, high-end, quality. And one of the recent events which you invited me to was a bright example of that. So thank you for that invitation, and thank you for coming back to our podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation. And really, I feel a little ashamed of all of these fantastic words, what you, all the compliments, what you said.
Well, it's the truth, right? You've known me for quite some time, and I don't really play around with the words. I like reality. And when I showed up to your reception, it was fantastic. I was like back home with beautiful people, beautiful gowns, nothing trashy, all high class. So I was really pleasantly surprised. I haven't seen that in Hollywood for quite some time. So thank you for that. And I mean, the whole organization and the films are really good. So it is the truth. Now, before we talk about the Critics' Choice and what's happening within that beautiful organization, you've just launched and you helped organize probably the first one of its kind Hungarian Film Festival here in Hollywood.
Yes, so just a little bit of a correction, because I was happy to involve to organize this festival, but historically there was another Hungarian festival for 22 years and it still exists. It's the Bunyik Entertainment organizing it, but now the National Film Institute in Hungary decided to make it even bigger. So they actually established a new Hungarian Film Festival in Hollywood, and this was the VIP reception where we could host you and we could welcome you there. So I was part of the organizing, but I wasn't the main organizer. The main organizer actually is in New York, the List Institute. It calls the List Institute, and that's Hungary's one of the biggest, maybe the only one institute that is about culture in the United States. So they were the main organizer, and they called me if I can help you because I am on a location and they know my work, and I was happily accepted this work.
Well, of course, what I'm saying is, they're in New York, the other Hungarian team is in Hungary, and if you were not in Hollywood, nothing would have happened without you. So you still are kind of the main backbone of the whole thing, and obviously the class. I love the class. Could you please share with us a little bit about the festival insights? Who is competing for what? What are the results of this film festival, and what are we expecting for the next one?
So this was first time, and I think it was a fantastic event. So nothing like this happened in Hollywood, and Hungary really could represent the Hungarian film industry for the Hollywood crowd. But it's also about, so this festival is special because it's not just about showing the Hungarian contemporary movie art in film art in Hollywood and in Los Angeles, but it's also about that Hungary is really strong in that the Hollywood studios are going to shoot productions in Hungary. So we are always like very busy with the Hungarian production in our capital, and also in our countryside. So sometimes the studios move to the countryside in Hungary. And the reason is that Hungary has a very good tax deal for Hollywood. So this festival, what was from October 25 till 27, and the audience could able to watch many high quality movies, but made in Hungary or shot in Hungary. Some Hollywood production was shot in Hungary, but on Monday when we had the reception, it was also about that Mr. Csaba Kál announced a very important fact that Hungary extended this tax deal for 6 more years. So we will probably in Hollywood, in Budapest, we will accept so much more amazing Hollywood productions. So one of the best one was from last year is The Poor Things, what was shot in Hungary. And maybe you remember it got some Oscars. So also a Hungarian filmmaker, Zsuzsa Mihalek, won an Oscar with the production.
Well, Hungarian history of filmmaking on the top professional level is quite, profound. I think one of the founders of Paramount Pictures.
Yes, it's very true.
Yes, and that's one of my favorite studios, even though it's a little business unstable right now. I've always admired its development, its films, and now that you have this festival connected with the institute, with the culture, with the government, it's really, I think it pushes it to the next level, because quite a few festivals, even if they are old enough, they still sometimes feel like a little amateur. This one was really nice, and you've presented quite a few samples of films on the big screen, really well done. And I know quite a few films that they've been shot in Hungary myself, including The Transporter with Jason Statham, and many celebrities do film there. Jean-Claude Van Damme, for example, and you name them. You have beautiful architecture in the cities. You have beautiful, magical, fairy tale looking architecture and looks in the countryside. So indeed, I think Hungary does have a lot of more potential than it's even using now. These facts aside, I've sent you a link about U.S. institutions trying to bring more filming back from overseas. What is your perspective on that?
Honestly, I couldn't check yet the article what you sent me, so I would rather skip this question right now. But as you mentioned, Budapest has a lot of potential. It's not just about, because what you mentioned, and it's true that we have amazing architecture, but it's also about that the architecture is very eclectic. So Budapest could be anything. It could be the old Paris, it could be Prague, it could be also the communist era, Soviet Union. And that's one thing. And the other thing is that we have all the big studios. The Origo, for example, is really big in next to Hungary, next to Budapest. So we have all the circumstances, but really can serve a big Hollywood productions. So that's why we have all of this Hollywood crews in Budapest. And as you mentioned, so many stars are working in Budapest, and more are coming. For example, A24 just announced that they're going to do a lot of movies in Budapest next year. So I was lucky to talk to Kristen Dunst on the more special screening, and it was cute because she was asking me that, so I have 2 kids, and which part of the town should I live? And we had this mother chat about this. And so they actually enjoy to be in Budapest, thank God. So everybody has a great time. I was with Tim Robbins for a week in Budapest a month ago, and he really loved it. He came with his theater company, but he really loved it, and he wants to come back next year. And just that time when we've been here, there was Woody Harrelson in the town, so we could able to meet with his crew too, and Jesse Eisenberg. So it's we always, I think the people in Budapest really got used to the Hollywood crews and the Hollywood stars on the streets of Budapest, and the city and the people are really happy with this. So I think that's why it's a big center, for Hollywood.
Right. Well, it seems like it's becoming the new Los Angeles. Decades ago, we had filming crews all around Los Angeles, and people would be okay, just another day. Yeah. Now it's more in Budapest.
Yes.
Since you have this new festival as a really cool and strong promotional tool for Hungary to film in Hungary, and you had a guest from the government, right? Did they share with you what is the percentage growth of filming intake that they project for the next years?
So he, who you met with Mr. Chabakal, he's actually not from the government, but he is one of the chairman of the main institute, the NFI, what is National Film Institute. So he's the head of it. Mm-hmm. And we didn't talk about numbers, but I know that it's really growing, and year by year, it's such a successful collaboration with Hollywood. So we know that that's why the government found it important to extend this tax deal, and also they told me that it's actually good for Budapest. I mean, all the service, but it's around this business, like the hotels, for the restaurant, for, I don't know, rental places. So it all helps for the Hungarian economy.
Right. You see, you quite often mention only Budapest. What about other cities?
Well, I don't have real, I mean, I don't know the statistics, but I know that many productions are going to the countryside too. So it's the same. But mainly Hollywood is focusing on Budapest because it's so big and it's so eclectic that they really couldn't find everything around, in Budapest and around in the suburb area.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've been actually at Lake Balaton and a location, what I knew that's a beautiful castle, and they were shot the I don't remember which was that, but some famous Hollywood production was shot that. It was like a camp of a spies. So yeah, they are going also outside from Budapest.
Right. Okay. So what are we expecting from the next year? What is going to happen with the festival? What is festival bringing? Let's share a little bit about that.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, Hungarians are very proud of that we established Hollywood, what means that lots of studios established by Hungarians, like what you said, Adolf Cukor established the Paramount, the big one, and the Fox studio is established by Hungarians, also the Sony. So we really feel at home here. And the next year perspective is that we would like to work more with the studios. So we would like to get some more supports from them. And it's also, that was the first festival. And obviously, even if it was a fantastic event, I guess, and we got a lot of nice feedbacks, but still, there is always place to grow. And we would like to work with the studios more, and we had amazing guests this year, also celebrities, but we would like also if those celebrities could involve more in our festivals who has Hungarian roots. Like this year, for example, Adrian Brody has a movie, and Adrian Brody is part Hungarian, and he he has this movie what just came out, The Brutalist, but it's shot in Hungary. He is part Hungarian, and the story is about a Hungarian man. So we would like to involve more people from the Hollywood talent community who are interested in what's going on in Hungary, and they have the connection. So we definitely want to grow for next year.
Right, and I know that you are in development of your own film. Shall we expect your film, your debut on the next festival?
Well, thank you for asking about it. Yes, it's gonna be my directorial debut, and yeah, it's a story what is basically a bridge between the US and Hungary. So it's gonna be a co-production, and it's just a short film. So I just want to start with a short story, but it's on my table for 10 years, and now it just got some offers to help and to make it happen. So hopefully it's gonna happen next year.
Well, please keep us in loop, and if there's anything we could help with, I'm always
Thank
there
you.
for you and for the team. I've heard that you're considering your husband to be the DP.
Yes.
How is
Yeah.
it to work with your significant other?
Well, it's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy because obviously we bring into some emotions, what is not very professional, and we should leave it behind. But I actually already shot an amateur movie with him and with his friend, and it got invited for several international festivals, amateur festivals. So I would say that the result of our work was nice and it is working. So we're gonna take the emotional aspect, you know.
Right. Well, before we move on with other topics, you mentioned to me when we met during the festival that Hungary also offers some grants for filmmaking for filmmakers, and on the other hand, for productions, you don't only need studios, but you need the investment. How is the situation with financial side in Hungary? Are the Hungarian companies investing, or maybe the government, or co-investing, taxes apart, right? And another side of this question, there is a few wars going on. One of them is in Europe, the other one is in the Middle East. Are these wars impacting the financial side in any way?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, Hungary is basically traditionally supporting films on a national level. So and not just films, also cultural projects. So the government, whatever, who is the government, who runs the government, it was always an opportunity for the filmmakers and also for other artists to apply for major grants. I mean, it could really finance the whole production. And it still exists, the system. So the NFI, who actually organized this festival now, they are the historically, institute, the historical institute, what is giving away the grants for filmmakers for years now. And so a lot of filmmakers can apply for that. I give you a sample. For example, if you are a short filmmaker, you can apply in any month, because every month the government, the NFI actually, sponsors films, and they are making a decision that how many short films they can support in 1 month. So I think it's a pretty big deal, because the filmmakers have a chance every month to get the grants. So that's one thing. And but because it's a political thing, that no, there is another side. So independent filmmakers just established new, I don't know what is it exactly, but so the filmmakers also can apply independently for grants from them. Mm-hmm. And those have, they have private sponsors, and they are looking for help from outside of the country also. It's just because they're trying to keep this balance that, there are an independent filmmaking also in Hungary, what is like totally independent and separated from the National Film Institute. And I think my personal idea is that that shows democracy, if it can happen, because filmmakers can choose where they want to get sponsors from. So I think it's a good, and it looks like a more balanced financial system for the Hungarian filmmakers.
What about the funding and investment in anything related to, political situations in Europe and Middle East? Is it impacting in any way?
Well, I can't really see the political aspect, so mm-hmm. I don't know how to answer of this, because I really focusing on the cultural movements and cultural events, so I really don't know what is behind. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want to give you a wrong answer about this.
Sure, sure. Okay, then my last question about finances. On my own experience, I see that if we are getting grants, which is basically free money, right? We just have to return back the product. It's not really developing competition because you're not facing the pressure of sales of the tickets, right? After making money back to the investor. And when you have this pressure, that's why Hollywood became #1, right? It's because we get investment, we're responsible for making double, triple money back. How do you see impact of these grants on development of filmmaking in Hungary?
It's a difficult question because, yeah, so I think they try to look forward and then just to profit, you know. So they also trying to build up, because it like the image, what is the, you know, the picture of the country. So probably they that's why they sponsoring so many films, because they trying to give opportunities for talents to show their talents, and we never know, you know, if you are for example a filmmaker who working on the first feature, you can't guarantee that it's gonna be profitable for the investors. And that's why we have this system, what is the grants are, you know, really supporting the talents, and we can introduce our talents internationally maybe, and then when they are winning some important prizes, what it happened with many filmmakers in the last few years, they can get investments from outside then. So maybe it's like a little bit like thinking 2 steps forward, and then it could be a very successful business investment that we are giving the grants for the talented people. That's how I see. So I don't know the exact logic of the whole process, but I can imagine that it could be one opportunities, because Hungary is really really well known in all of these award ceremonies. For example, in the Oscars, in the last few years, we always have Hungarians who winning in some level. Like last year, we have Zsuzsa Mihalek in the Portings, but before we also had like Oscar winner directors and Oscar nominated directors. And for a little country like Hungary, this is a big deal. I mean, we are, you know, we don't have the Cinecittà, and we don't have the French filmmaking opportunities. I mean, that those are historically big countries in filmmaking, the French movies, the Italian movies, also the Scandinavian movies, and also the UK is a huge field. So compared to Hungary, who is like 9 million people lives in the country, even we have history too in filmmaking, but not in the last 40 years, you know, in the Soviet Union time and the socialist era. So compared to that, it's a big deal that we are always seen on the Oscars and on other award shows. Like, for example, we have independent director Gábor Reisz. He won on the Berlinale. So we have big names now, and I think that's the investment, that we have big names.
Well, that's definitely truth. And, well, maybe Hungary is a small country, but you have rich history. Also, Hungarian Empire was the best empire in the whole history of humankind. And then you take with quality. You know, you might have 9 million people, but Hungarian people established studios in Hollywood. You can't really say that about French. And I don't know, except for Luc Besson in France, I don't really know anything good, to be honest with you. I don't even think
they're a really good movie this year. The Emilia Perez. I was just that's their Oscar nominated movie, and that's a really good one. I just watched it, and then maybe they have this year. They have a big chance. I actually can show you this. See, they got it. This is the movie, and so it looks like they do have a good film industry. It's actually with Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez, also American stars in the movie.
Well, I'm glad that you got that they got some money to invite our celebrities. And while you were telling me the story behind these grants, I'm also thinking that with these grants, these young filmmakers, they're able to actually afford to hire professionals, which is a good thing in a way, because yeah, maybe they're not facing the pressure from investors or selling the film, but they can actually work with good professionals instead of trying to pull off a film for free for a favor or stuff like that. So well, we definitely see really cool growth, and I mean, the festival was fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to the next year, and maybe you getting the main award for the best directing, you know.
Yeah, well, thank you, thank you.
Neither of you mentioned the Oscars and these other award ceremonies. What is new? What's happening within the Critics' Choice Awards? Is there any changes, any news, anything you could share with us?
Well, we are preparing for the next year festival, definitely. I mean, not festival, sorry, the award show. And I really appreciate that the Critic Choice, it's also focusing different film and television communities. So, for example, we had a very beautiful award ceremony in the Egyptian theater like a couple of weeks ago. It was for the Latino filmmakers. So we were celebrated the Latino filmmakers because it was a Heritage Month. And this month we will celebrate the Asian filmmakers. So, it's like a little bit like the little bit of the same version, but a little smaller version that on award shows. And it's really important to highlight those fantastic talents and filmmakers who are part of a community to get together and giving them awards separately, because sometimes, they are just not seen enough. And we couldn't, in the big shows, they got an award, but there are so many other talents from that communities who couldn't be awarded because we only can nominate like 5 or 6 films or something. And but there are so many talents, and it really gives those communities also the opportunity to be seen. So that's the news, that we had this award, and we will have another award shows, the Asian award shows, in a couple of weeks, so in mid-November. And of course, we are looking forward to the next one, to the next big gala, the Critic Choice Awards. Last year, it was very, very successful because all the Hollywood celebrities attended and they had a great time. I can tell that sometimes the award shows are so boring, but in our show was we had a pizza party in the middle of the advert break, but the people couldn't see, and they like run one table to the other, and they were chatting, eating pizza. So it was like really light and happy, and I think they will come back. And this year we have so many amazing films. I never seen a season that we had like such an amount of films. And of course, one is better than the other. So it's like we really have a strong competition this year.
Well, that's fantastic. Competition always grows more and more diamonds. Except for the main gala, what are you looking forward to in 2025?
I mean, the Critic Choice, or in my personal journey?
Everything.
Well, okay. So the Critic Choice is doing a great job, and it's growing year by year. And I think it's pretty constant. So I don't looking for any fireworks in the next year. It's just like if it stays as it is, it's a really great service. It's not a service. I'm trying to find the right word, but so we are a great feedback for the artist, I would say. So it's like so many colleagues are working there, and everybody has to be really professional, because it's more than 500 critics works for the Critic Choice, and in the Critic Choice, and everybody has to prove year by year that they are working journalists, and they are really good at what they're doing. So that's why the quality is really high. And so I think if it stays as it is, it's still really good. In my personal journey, as you mentioned, I'm really excited to try myself as a director. And, I can tell that we already, so the first script is already existing. And I will work with amazing talents like David Robbins will be my composer, and for first, first filmmaker. How can I wish for bigger name that him who also wrote the music for The Dead Man Walking. So it's like it's gonna be an amazing journey, and I feel so much support from everywhere. So I am excited to be creative next year. And of course, on another hand, I will also, gonna review all the amazing talents, movies and television shows. And well, that's all.
Well, that's quite a lot. Plus, you have a new festival that's probably going to be even bigger next year. Yeah. Well, Virag, thank you so much for coming today and sharing with us. We'll keep our eye on all your amazing progress, and we'll keep inviting you to share with us, with our audience, on what's going on in, your directing life, in your life at the Critics Awards, Hungarian Film Festival. And well, together, let's bring more value to our audience and to the filmmakers. Let's make this international bridge more accessible, and it'll bring more value to both countries. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm gonna be happy to share more details in the future.